Crazy
Where
trial.
where is Jeremy Townsend today?
He came in and testified on behalf of the state.
So,
Denied it. Denied it all.
okay, so he's not saying that any of this happened. He's not
Well,
saying I
he admitted to the affair.
okay, but that's it.
So,
Okay.
but he did obviously he denied
Yeah.
shooting
Okay.
Michael,
Okay.
denied that he was there that day. And it's like I was like, well, where's the phone data? Like, if I'm the state,
Yeah.
I'm seeking to just disprove the state's or the defense's theory altogether by just getting his phone data,
Mhm.
showing that he wasn't at that house at that time on any of the 3 days that we think that it may have occurred. They give a time frame of like November 7th to the 10th. So they didn't come up with that data. So I mean, look, man, you never know what a jury's going to do. You really don't. And if one, like, I mean, look how long the Telus jury went.
Sure. What the daughter testified, correct? The one who
Correct. Yes.
the story by the defense is that she did this and then, you know,
Right.
mom and boyfriend tried to kind of cover this up because for whatever reason. Um
Right.
what was her testimony like? I mean, was she believable?
I mean, so at this point she's 15,
Yeah.
right? Um, it sounded rehearsed. I mean, she had a story. In my estimation, you can't just judge on what her voice sounds
Yeah.
like and if she's like stuttering on facts as much as does the story make sense in conjunction with other parts of the story that are coming from other people other than her.
Mhm.
And to me, really the most damning piece of evidence is the fact that I think it was a forensic. I don't know if she was a forensic pathologist or what, but she came in talking about the bones, talking about the skull, talking about the fact that there had been a shot that had gone through the back of the skull. There was no entrance wound, so obviously the projectile was lodged in the brain. Because they did find the projectile, they couldn't get a direct match with any of the multiple guns that they had at the house. But the most striking testimony to me was that there was no evidence whatsoever that there was a second shot.
Mhm.
So when uh, Isabel, the daughter, testified at the age of 15, she said, I walked up behind my father and I shot him in the head, but like nothing happened. And like, so I'm like, what do you mean nothing happened? And I didn't understand he was sitting in a chair until she testified. Cause at first I was like, oh, get an expert to just prove that the trajectory of the bullet, that there's no way a 7-year old, like you'd
Yeah.
be able to tell that angle. So like in terms of rebutting that, obviously story became he was sitting in a chair. That's how the bullet's going to be straight into the head. So on direct, she basically says nothing happens. That's what she said. But then on cross, she said that he started like shaking, that he was convulsing.
Mhm.
So, which would mean that she shot him in the head,
Mhm.
right? So that's what creates the problem when they inject the Jeremy portion of the story, which means that he too shot him in the head, and there's not two bullet wounds.
Which would
So
be found. I mean, that's not
right, right.
debatable. Like
There's no way.
magically, yeah.
Yeah, the forensic anthropologist, I think that's what it was. She was like, there's even if you're doing a double tap, boom, boom, like you're still going to see it's going to look more like a helix.
Yeah.
Like you're never going to get two projectiles to go through the exact same hole
Sure.
without creating more of a hole one
Mhm.
way or another. So, like, I mean, that evidence was pretty damning to me, and it got really weird because she is charged with second degree murder, but they also charged her with accessory after the fact as kind of a fallback charge in the event that they can't get her on the second degree murder because she can't be charged with both.
Mhm.
You cannot be an accessory to your own crime.
Okay.
All right. So in that situation, it was befuddling because they included a self defense or defense of others instruction for the jury.
Mhm.
And I'm like, man, that doesn't make any sense. Like, they're sitting here saying Laurie didn't do it. So, but they included that instruction in the event that they buy the Isabel story.
Mhm.
Okay. And they're saying that she wasn't justified because she snuck up behind her dad and shot him in the head.
Mhm.
which doesn't necessarily make that, but which would be a crime if it's not justified, right? So self-defense, that's all, a homicide has been committed. It's a question of whether or not it's a justifiable homicide.
Mhm.
That's where self-defense comes in. Homicide, but it's justifiable. In this situation, the state is arguing that that wouldn't be justifiable, but like the story is that he was stepping on Laurie's head, like he had his foot on her head while he's sitting in the chair, and so, but this instruction comes in, and it's going to confuse the jury, and it's going to confuse them because they basically have to acknowledge that there's a possibility that this crazy story that they've made up or appear to have made up about the child and Jeremy shooting him is a possibility.
Mhm.
I mean, if it's not a possibility, then why include the accessory after the fact charge? I just think the state made a mistake by charging that because it's showing that the state thinks that there's a possibility that the Isabel story could be true.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's a really weird case, man. It's a really weird. So with all those things in consideration, I think that this deliberation could go
Yeah.
for a while. The X factor is always it's a Friday. Does the
Yeah.
jury just want to go home and not come back? So
Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Brueski, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.